Hi, my name is Corey Custer. I've been an engineer at Eastern Fire Department for 14 years. Today, I'm going to teach you about search and rescue and the uses of thermal imaging devices. The objective of this class is to learn about different search patterns in search and rescue and the uses of thermal imaging devices during search and rescue in that process. Talk about search and rescue. When we go into these rooms, we got to make a decision whether we're going to go on a left-hand search or a right-hand search. First, I want to talk about going on a left-hand search, also known as a clockwise search, as you enter a room. When you and your partner enter that room on a left-handed search, you're going to go to the left hand to the left-hand wall, and the lead man is going to sweep that wall as he's going down the wall from the floor as high as he can reach to be making sure that he's looking for means of egress in case of an emergency. While his partner behind him is stretched out, staying in contact with him the whole time, using his tool or extremities, reaching out all the way to the middle of the room. Once the lead guy comes to a corner in that room, he's going to turn right. And he's going to work his way all the way around that room until he gets back out to the entry point. Once you get back out to the entry point and that room is cleared, then you're going to leave that room and either mark it or close the door behind you. When we enter these rooms on these searches, we need to be making sure that we check all the closets, under the beds, and in the bathrooms, because that's where kids like to go and hide because they're scared. So we got to keep that in mind when we're doing these searches. We got to check everything possible that we can and cover as much ground as possible as can as quickly as possible. So if we're going to do a counterclockwise search, it's the same thing as a clockwise search. It's just reversed. So if we're going to go in the entry of a room, we're going to take a right, go as far as we can, sweeping the wall, looking for means of egress in case an emergency happens. Once we come to a corner, we're going to turn left, and we're going to do that all the way around that room until we get back to our point of entry. When we're going to these search and rescues and we're going to these houses, it's obvious we're there for structure fire. So once we get to these doors that we're searching, these rooms, if the door is closed, we're going to check it for heat. We're going to check it with the back of our hand. So feel it high, all the way low. If the door is hot, then we need to make sure before we enter that room that we have a hose line with us. That way we can extinguish the fire, give us some suppression, and then search that room. Whether it be a left-handed search or a right-handed search, that's whatever decision is made, that's the one you stick with. Always enter and exit through the same door. So when you're searching that room, if you come to another door, you continue around and finish searching that room until you get back out to the entry point you came through. Once you come out of those rooms, make sure that if it's low visibility, then we're just going to close the door behind us and continue on to the next search. If there is any visibility, we need to make sure we mark that door so when there's a secondary search that happens, whoever team comes for that secondary search, they can see that door and say, look, it's marked. It's already been searched. And they can move on to the next room. When we're going into these rooms and we're going to these houses for search and rescue, we're always going to take tools with us. We're always going to take a set of irons, whether it be a flathead axe or a pickhead axe, a Halligan bar. We're going to take some type of tool with us to make sure that we're going to use an extension of our body. We're going to sweep the room with those tools. We're not going to use the head of the axe. We're going to take the head of the axe, we're going to have it in our palm, we're going to take the handle, and we're going to sweep it out to give us that further extension to make sure we feel every part of that room. Another tool that we can also take in with us is thermal imaging devices. Thermal imaging devices give us a great advantage going into structure fires. When we get off the truck, we have a set of tools with us on any structure fire. You need to have a thermal imaging camera with you. Low visibility, what you can't see, that thermal imaging camera is going to pick up off a heat signature. It's used to show heat images. You can also see the path of the fire, the origin of the fire. You can also see the whole landscape of the room through that thermal imaging camera. We're going down through these hallways and we're checking these rooms to make sure if they're hot and make sure the doors are hot to see if there's fire in that room. You can also take that thermal imaging camera. So if you feel that door and it's hot, you take that thermal imager and you look at that door, and it's going to show you whether there's fire behind that door or not. Throughout the process of the search and rescue, it is very important to always make sure that you have your tools with you at all times, and make sure that you have a thermal imaging camera readily available for search and rescue. It's going to make it a lot easier and a lot faster process searching for downed victims. As we're searching for downed victims, more likely where they're going to be found at are at our egress points. So when we go, the first place we need to check is right at the front door. When people's houses catch on fire, they try to get out. 90% of the time, they do not try to stay in the house. They always try to exit the house. So they're going to be by windows, front doors, back doors, wherever it means of egress from the outside of the house that we see. That's where we want to go first. Once we check the means of egress access points for downed victims, then we need to move on to the point of origin of the fire. Closest to the fire is where the victims sometimes are going to be. And if they're not there, then we're going to go above the fire. But before we go above the fire, we need to make sure that we have a suppression team on the fire, making sure that there's water being put on the fire before we go above it. When we're going in these structures and we're doing these searches on smaller rooms, it's easier to stay in contact with your partner. When we go to these structures that have larger rooms or commercial structure, we take rope and we take out tie off the rope before we go in. That way we can have contact throughout the whole building, and we know which way we came in because we can follow the rope back out. As long as you stay in contact, whether it's verbal, sight, or physical contact with your partner, you try to cover the most area in that structure as possible. Sweeping every section of the room that you can.
So basically what you're saying is if I went in the room with you and the room was a decent size, we could split up in that room as long as we were still verbally in contact with each other.
Absolutely.
So, as long as I could still talk to you and you could still talk to me and we could talk to each other, as long as that goes, it would be okay to split up in a room as far as that goes.
Yeah, even in smaller rooms, you can one person can stay at the door as one person searches that whole room. Whether it's a left-hand search or right-hand search, as long as he feels that he can cover all the area in that room, his partner could stay at the door as long as he's in voice contact with him.
So, and even with that thermal imaging camera, if you had the thermal imaging camera and you were at the door and I went in, you could still have visible contact on me, as well as verbal. You know, with the technology of those thermal imaging cameras, you'd be able to see me move around inside the room and know what I was doing just by visibly seeing me through that thermal imaging.
That's exactly right. I had me and a partner of mine went on fire one time, and we didn't take the thermal imaging camera in with us. And we went on a right-hand search. We searched around this room. Knew the fire was on the D side of the structure. We entered in on the A side. Went to the right immediately with a hose line. Smoke was thick and black. It was on the floor. We went around this room 6-7 times. Could not find a way to get on the other side. Well, come to find out, they had cut out a doorway in the corner of the room, and the door opened out to us. Well, it was just a flat door flush to the wall. We didn't realize it. At the time, if we'd have had a thermal imaging camera, that would have combated that. We'd have knew exactly where to go. But there again, we didn't take it off the truck, which was our fault. But if we would have had that, we